1 week removed from another tough game, and had a chance just to kind of relax. Hope you guys had a chance to get away for a week and relax as well. But hopefully we got our guys freshened up, ready for the second half of the season. Is really the focus right now at this point. You can't look back; you look forward. Obviously, nobody in our program's happy with where we are right now. We've set an expectation and a bar up here the last few years, and we're not reaching it. And again, it goes to everybody that sits in this room on a normal day here to get it done. Coaches coach and players play, so nobody's happy. I think that's the important thing, and everybody's working their tails off to get better. And again, the focus has got to be on us and what we're doing. Even though we got the number 15 team in the country coming in here, focus got to be on us executing and doing our job to make things better. And it's not an easy task, as you guys know, but it's what we do as coaches and what we enjoy. Obviously, last week we made a change at the quarterback spot. I got a ton of confidence in Phil Dracovic. I still do. Even if you won't and don't, I still do, but felt like we needed a spark at that position, see what happens, and so that's kind of what we did. So Christian will be the guy lined up there, and expect to have a good week this week as we did last week at that position, and kind of see what happens. Again, I got a lot of faith in him and Nate Yarnell as well. So that's kind of where we are there. So we'll kind of see where we go as far as the quarterback position goes. As far as Louisville, and then I'll let you guys ask questions. Again, the number 14th or 15th team in the country, Jeff Brom, my first time going against him, but I've known him for a while. I think he's an excellent football coach. He's an offensive guy. His brother Brian is the offensive coordinator. And they obviously do a great job game planning. They got one of the, not only a top 15 team, they got a top 20 offense in just about every category. They got the Jordan kid, number 25 at tailback, is Izzy Abandakanda, speed-wise. He's not as big as Izzy, but he's physical, and if he hits the hole, and if you don't hit it right, if you miss it, he's gone. Like you saw Izzy a year ago. He's had some explosive screens, runs. He does it all. He's got great hands out of the backfield. So, and then the Plummer kid at quarterback is a guy that's an older guy that he's worked with in the past at Purdue. So they're and they're talented at receiver as well. So they got probably maybe as a talented receiving crew as we're going to see this year. Again, just explosive on offense in every way with the receivers, with the running back. Just a team that we got to make sure we limit the explosive, which we've done a decent job of this year. And then defensively, again, multiple fronts. We're going to see, probably three major fronts, so we'll see, 4 down, 3 down combination, different stuff. They're aggressive up front. They got, their strength is their defensive line. The Gillette kid up front is a football player, but they got multiple guys that can rush the quarterback and put pressure. So we'll have to be really good in protection, and again they're stingy in the run game. I mean, they're in the top 10 probably stopping the run as well. So it's a heck of a challenge that's walking in here, and we'll work in there. So questions.
How did the quarterback change come about? Did you approach Frank? Did he approach you, or did it come up organically?
Frank ultimately is going to make that decision, Amanda. But we had conversations for sure, I think anytime you step overboard and say, hey, I think you need to do this, I just don't think it works well. But Frank ultimately makes that call, and I'll either say yay or nay. Again, like I said, we got faith in Phil, and you were hoping to see what you saw in practice. It just, and again, like I said, we're going to find out where we move from here, and again, Phil's an unbelievable guy. Phil will do whatever you ask him to do. He just wants to win. He doesn't care, and Phil took it like a champion, like I expected him to. And like I said, Phil, will do anything we ask him to do. He'll run down on a kickoff. He'll play defense. He'll do anything.
What are your conversations about maybe making a change? Again, did they start when you hit the bye week?
Yes.
And will he play tight end?
Well, no. Again, rumors get out there, I guess, and whatever you want to call it, Will. He's been in the quarterback meetings. He's a quarterback, and that's what he is. Could he be a tight end someday? Yeah. But when I'm talking down the line, but he's a quarterback here at Pitt.
He's
We haven't got the depth chart yet from the game notes. Is he listed as number 3 on the quarterback depth chart?
Who?
Phil.
No, he's listed as a number 2 right now, but we'll see how the week goes.
Did Phil run routes this past week at practice?
Did he run routes?
Yes.
I don't remember. No, he didn't run any routes in a team period at all.
What about in an
Ever.
individual setting? Did he run any routes?
I don't recall.
The discussions you had.
So if he runs routes, he's a tight end.
I'm just asking a question.
Okay.
The discussions you had with Frank after the Virginia Tech game, did you have any of this before the Virginia Tech game? About whether you contemplate a change before the Virginia?
No, Jerry.
Have you seen the team respond to this? Because this is a huge change for Phil, a guy who a lot of people have been behind. This is something you guys haven't had to deal with for a while.
Yeah, how did the team respond? I don't go ask, hey, what do you guys think about? We don't. It's just got to do what you got to do. And again, it's never an easy decision when you do something like that. That's why you take your time and do it the right way, Chris. It's just one of those things. I mean, I haven't asked, hey, how do you guys feel? You feel better, or you feel worse, or it doesn't really matter. We got to go out and play, and we got to all execute. Offensively, defensively, and special teams, we got to go out and execute because it doesn't matter who's sitting back there. We're going to need everybody around him to play well.
Right, but have the Eagles had sit down more conversations with Christian to help him get up to speed? What's been the team's reaction to help Christian be ready for his first start?
There's really been no discussions. I mean, I've met with the Eagles unless they've discussed stuff on their own, which Christian's been ready. So I don't think there's this get ready. Christian's not going to be any more ready than he is, and will be on Thursday afternoon.
You mentioned needing a spark, and that's why you.
Yeah, I just think you got to change it up at some point, and got to figure out if that's going to help at all. I can't tell you it's gonna. We got to go all execute around them, and I think that's the key. And I've said that for 5 weeks, and I'm going to stick to it because it's a fact. Is everybody's got to execute around together.
I was thinking about where your quarterback situation will be next year, part of the consideration at all, like getting Christian maybe some experience with.
No, that's not. It's about right now. The future is next Saturday at 6:30 on the CW network. That's the future. We're not worried about next year. We got plenty of time to worry about next year.
In recent weeks, you talked about how Nate Garnell helped out on the scout team. Will Phil help out on the scout team now?
He would. We haven't discussed that, but he could go down there and throw it. I mean, I know he would. Maybe it's something we'll play around with, but we feel pretty good with what we got down there. But he could go down there and do that as well.
And that half of action and what you've seen.
I want to keep him locked into quarterback, though. No, I mean, we've kept 3 quarterbacks down, so I'd probably say that's not going to happen.
That time you've seen him, what have you seen from Christian? What do you like about Christian's game or about his leadership?
Christian's got a great release. I mean, you guys have seen a little bit of him play, this year so far, but he's got a great quick release. He throws a great ball. He can sling it around. He's athletic and he's fired up. So I think he wants to have his opportunity, and we're going to find out what it looks like Saturday night.
And what do you notice? What's the biggest difference with Louisville under Braum as opposed to what you saw the last couple of years?
It's very similar. I mean, I think Satterfield and what they did last year and what they did the year before during the COVID year. I forget what year we played them, but they've got a lot of transfers in right now. I mean, that's the first thing. They've got I think at Jackson State and Jackson State and the Georgia State transfers. So they got 2 hungry guys. I mean, out there at receiver that are physical. The receivers are physical. They make plays. They're quick. They get out of their breaks well. And again, they will block you. I mean, I'm impressed with their toughness. But I just think Braum does a great job scheming you up. But they're a talented football team for sure.
Is this the most balanced offense you think your defense will face, or at least at this point in the season?
Yeah, I mean, you go back to the Virginia Tech game and you look at we're on the field for almost 40 minutes, had 59 rushes. Our goal is to hold people to 3.3 yards per carry. We held them to 3.4 yards. It felt like it was 10.8 yards per carry, what it felt like, because you felt like you're out there all day and you couldn't stop that little toss counter. Reed had, they were playing with, wildcat quarterback. I mean, the Drones kid. So when you look at the balance there, but then he was able to hit 3 big passes on us, which was disappointing. Got a little push off and we're looking back for the ball too early for almost 10 yards. We're looking back for the ball and get nudged off. Perfect pass, and we give up 2 other big passes in that game. So, we got to be better on defense, stopping the run, and going back to the Louisville and the balance. Yeah, it's a balance. It's you got to play both, and they're they're having success in the run game and the passing game. So it is a lot more balanced. However, you look at Virginia Tech, and they average almost 12 yards per pass and 3.4 yards per run. So, but it looked like it was the opposite, but it wasn't.
How often did you practice last week?
Twice, just like we normally do. Nothing more, nothing less. Practiced on Wednesday, Thursday.
Given how Phil performed in some of the games, are you at all concerned with your offensive staff's ability to evaluate talent? I know you said he looked good in practice, but it didn't exactly translate.
It would start with me evaluating talent. We brought every one of these guys in here. No, I just think, you look back and, as a coach, you're always going to be optimistic, Amanda. You're looking and, you think you're just going to keep replacing guys. We lost a lot of good football players the year before. And, I'll say that week 5 or 6 or in the open week when you look back. But, we just haven't made the plays we need to. You have a different quarterback. You go from Kenny Pickett for 5 years to where you got another quarterback, and then you got another quarterback, and we just haven't gotten a groove. So is evaluating talent. I can just tell you this: the quarterback is the most important position on the football team. And, and when you talk about evaluating a quarterback, it starts with me. And, we just got to do a better job at that position. And again, like I said, it's not all the quarterback. But I like our talent on our football team. We just got to execute better. And we got to coach them better. We got to call better plays.
Pat, without getting too specific, how important was this past week for health reasons, for getting healthier and to remedy some of those injuries?
It was okay. It wasn't as good as you want it to be. Wasn't as good as you want it to be. I'll leave it right there. But, Jerry, I thought that was going to be your question. You asking him, you say, hey, could you do that for me today? But it wasn't as good as you want to be. And, in the open week, you're not happy. And we got some guys banged up last week in the open week because we went out there in shells and we played football, which is what we need to be. I wasn't going to go out there and be soft. We need to go out and play football and execute and try to get better fundamentally. So we got a couple guys even more banged up last week. So hopefully they'll be ready to go. But we didn't do ourselves any favors in the open week.
How would you say the team reacted to the change of quarterback?
I think Chris just asked that a little bit ago, but I didn't see any reaction. To be honest with you, we didn't make an announcement in here that was going to happen. There was no cheering, there was no disappointment, there was nothing. But that's what I expected of our football team. It's business, and it can happen at any position in here, whether it's a D line or the receivers or O line. I mean, there's been changes made, whether it's ones you want to make or not make. But I saw no reaction at all. Our guys love each other here. The coaches love the players. It's not an easy thing to do, and there's nobody in here going, "Oh, that's great, thank God." There's none of that. Our guys are together and care for each other.
Not about quarterbacks, but about being 1 and 4. Have you and your coaches had to maybe get some kids to keep their chins up, to keep motivated them at 1 and 4?
You always want to do that. I think you're always, every week you're motivated, whether you lost 1 or you lost 2 in a row or 5 in a row. But I think that's always a constant. You're trying to keep them guys. But I think kids nowadays are resilient. After again, they had almost 72 hours before we watched it and did all that. They had Sunday off after that game. We didn't get home till about 4 o'clock in the morning anyway. I think they came in, they looked at it. And we go out and try to fix the stuff, but you can't sit there and dwell on it. And again, I think the coaches will dwell on it more. I got to motivate the coaches, just to get them pumped up. Like, hey, that was last week. Let's go. As much as the players, I think it's a mental game that you play, but that's part of life. And we sit there and worry about what happened in our life, in our personal life or our football life. You're going to have problems. You're going to move on and play the situation. It's called adversity. It happens in daily life, and I'm sure everybody in here is going through something. But you got to move on. You can't be thinking about, you can't have the poor me's. And our guys don't have that, and I don't think that's a problem.
On the note of motivating coaches, are you still spending the bulk of your time in the defensive meeting rooms, or are you, spending a little bit more time on the offensive side of the ball just to see what changes they're looking at or what they're looking at?
Yeah, I spend a little bit more time, but like I said, if you watch Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday, I didn't get to watch it, but talk about dominant defense. I'm going to use my time, where it's supposed to be and what I can do to help. I am not going to go in there and shuffle it up and say, you guys need to try this, do this. I'll give my tips. I'll give things that I believe and see and coach fundamentals. But, when it comes to meeting time, I'm watching a majority, of tape, whatever it is, 80% on defense. But when on the field, I'm out there watching, attitudes and effort on the field. Practice, I'm there all day long. I don't know if I've mentioned it to you in the past, but I'm there the whole time. Because I think that's where I can at least watch the attitude, watch the fundamentals, watch the scout team making sure they're giving them a good look and pass rushing and not just sitting there on the line of scrimmage getting blocked.
I believe it's been 4 different starting offensive line units in 5 games. How do you go about evaluating that room with so much turnover, injuries, and all that kind of stuff, especially during a bye week?
It's next man up. I mean, there's nothing, I look at the Giants quarterback a couple weeks ago getting sacked 11 times, and I'm like, man, got sacked 11 times yet. It could get worse, I guess, right? And they get free agents. They get to pull guys in off the waivers and, get to replace those guys and pay them a lot of money to do it. We can't do that. The guys in Coach Borbley's room aren't going to change, so we have what we have right now. The injuries are what they were, what they are, and we need to go play. But, when you compare it to things like that, it's our job to get them coached up, and that's what it is. There's no free agency. You're not going in the portal in the middle of the season, to get a new guy. It's what you have, and I'll take our guys, and that's our job is to coach them up. We got to get better.
Have there been any discussions when Jake comes back if he'll be playing center or be moved back to guard?
Haven't had that discussion right now. Just worried about getting him back first, and then we'll figure that out when the time comes. If we sit there before he's totally back, whatever that is, if we sit there and say, hey, when he comes back, we're going to do this, by that time, it might be somebody else out, that plan changes. So you don't make decisions until you know exactly, where everybody is and where we are.
Yeah, I know you said you guys practiced twice, but have you seen or heard the Christian working more with the receivers and the tight ends to kind of get into a flow with the first team guys so they can have a chance to develop more chemistry, especially during the off week?
You know what? If they did it on their own. I can't tell you that they have gone out there. Besides the 2 practices, we've had a couple feet meets as well, where our guys go out and work with it. So they've been together. And again, the thing is, in our practices, and you guys are there early in the practice, during the week. It's not like we say, hey, Phil, you throw just to the 1s, and Christian, you throw to the 2s. It's them rotating out there, and they're getting there's no matching it up where, hey, you only throw to the 1 and you only throw to the 2s. That's not what we have done or ever have done. So, they've thrown to each other before. I don't think there's any, time. I mean, there's going to be a natural timing issue, but there's nothing you can do about that, and it's something you can gain in a week.
You call this Christian's opportunity. I mean, he's obviously going to start Saturday. Is he the starter until, or is this like, are you essentially evaluating him on Saturday and then make?
I think everybody gets evaluated. I mean, Phil's been evaluated for 5 weeks, so we're going to take that body of work that he puts in Saturday and look at it and keep him on his feet and let him go. But we're going to do whatever we got to do to win a football game.
You said a lot of times about not having a quick hook, not wanting to make a quick reaction
Right.
in the first 5 games. Do you kind of have to reset the clock now? I mean, now that Christian can get him sort of the same.
No question, Chris. I mean, I'm not going to pull the plug on him either. I don't think you pull the plug on anybody. So he's got to go out and execute. We expect that, and we'll see how it goes. And everybody around him's got to get it done.
When you look at the transfer QBs that have come in, Peterman obviously had some success, but
he was pretty good.
Well, yeah. Max, had some injuries, didn't really maybe play the level he wanted to. Keaton,
I liked Keaton a lot.
Inconsistent.
Was a good football player.
Last year, with Phil having his issues, do you have to reevaluate maybe how you approach the portal with that position?
You do, but again, as soon as you do that, then you handicap yourself in different situations. Who knows? I mean, it's just again, it's everybody around them as well. You look at some of these teams out here, like even of Louisville, how they taking a ton of transfer guys. You look at Colorado taking a ton. What's right, what's wrong. Maybe we should have taken, forget the quarterback, maybe we should have taken more offensive linemen, I mean, so you can look at the whole thing and what do we, maybe we're playing with too many young high school guys and we got to take older guys. Maybe we just need a junior, senior oriented and just keep going to the portal and not recruit high school guys. And there's a lot of different angles you can look at it. I'm not sure what's wrong or what's right, but I really like developing guys. And at the quarterback spot, when you have a guy leave, you gotta get another guy, and you want to get, you don't want to have 3 freshman quarterbacks. So you're kind of stuck doing that sometimes.
You said 1 or 2 more, Jerry? The team needs a spark. What about Christian's makeup, his mental makeup? Thinks he can give that huge lead you to believe he can give that spark?
Well, if he goes out and makes some throws and makes some plays, that's how you get a spark, right? I mean, just something different, and we'll find out. Find out Saturday night, Jerry.
As much as when we focus on the offense with the quarterback change, how much was focus as the defense had to kind of refocus on and get back to the identity that you guys have had for the past few years, defensively, stopping the run, getting after the
Yeah,
quarterback?
thanks for asking about defense. Like I said, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they win championships with defense, right, Jerry? Yeah, I watch, what they do, and I only see some highlights. I walked in my office yesterday after a staff meeting. I walked in there just as Pickens was the last 10 yards of that big pass. I didn't know what happened. I had it on my office, but I was never in my office. But I had it on whatever it was, CBS or ABC, whatever it was. I put it on when I got into the office. But, we got to play championship defense, and we got to get better. We got to make more plays. We missed a lot of tackles last week, and we've been solid, but not where we need to be. We need to get off the field and give the ball back to our offense. And our offense needs to, to sustain drives and not go 3 and out. Put the defense in bad spots with turnovers.
Did you guys do anything like specific during the bye week to focus on on things to get better?
Oh yes, no doubt about it. Did a lot of stuff. So had a lot of tackling drills, Jerry.
Any final?
So we got guys banged up, probably. Anything else?
Phil was the one who told his teammates about the change, right? And if that's so, what's that say about him that he didn't quit and he wanted to tell his guys about all this?
Phil is a great kid. If you guys knew Phil, you love him to death. Like I said, he's a team player. He'll do anything you ask him to do. He just wants to win. So it tells you a lot about the character of Phil.
So it's very difficult for you to make that change in light of all that.
It's difficult to make any change. Anytime you make any change, I don't want to say the quarterback's different than any other one, but it's a guy that's run the show for 5 weeks, and it's not easy anytime. It's never easy.
Is Phil helping Christian in terms of like the playbook and just like the knowledge, and just based on his experience, he's obviously played a lot longer.
Yeah, if Christian's got questions, he's going to ask Phil. He's going to, but like Christian's he's been in the same meeting room with Phil for, he's been there with him. They came in together pretty much in January, so they've been in the meeting room. I listened, back during practice and listened to what, he should have thrown it here, he should have thrown it there. Hey, they have those conversations every day, so I don't think that's going to change. But whether it's Christian in there and the quarterback's evaluating what he's doing during practice, they all talk. Hey, it looked like the safety went to the middle of the field. Middle field was closed. They're talking and having those conversations, every day, every period, every drill.